Just before sunrise at 5:43 a.m., a trembling voice broke through on Cameroon CRTV. The President of the Republic, Paul Biya, is no longer in command. The armed forces have assumed control in the name of national survival. Cameroon's sovereignty begins now. No anthem played. No ceremony unfolded, just a stern military spokesperson clutching a single sheet of paper. The broadcast cut to black, and for a moment, the nation stood still. Then, as dawn painted the skies over Yaoundé, Cameroon awoke to a transformed reality. Paul Biya, who had ruled with an iron grip for over 40 years, outlasting coups, outsmarting rivals, and governing from distant hospital beds in Europe, was gone. Whispers raced through the streets. Is it true? Is Biya dead? Who's leading now? By 7 a.m., the people poured into the streets, not with fear, but with tears, laughter, and a fragile, electric hope. In Douala, crowds huddled around phone screens. Men wept openly, women knelt in prayer. Paul Biya, the eternal shadow over generations, the ghost haunting every decision, every lost dream, every broken promise, was no more. No gunfire, no flames, just a nation stirring from a half-century slumber. A silent coup, a deafening miracle. And across the globe, a question echoed. If Paul Biya can fall, who's next? This wasn't an overnight upheaval, it only appeared that way. Beneath the surface, months of meticulous planning had dismantled Africa's oldest dictatorship. The masterminds weren't jungle rebels or foreign mercenaries, they were Biya's own generals, men who had worn his colors for decades, but had reached their breaking point. At the heart of the plot was Brigadier General Ano Embassy, head of internal military logistics and, for the past year, Biya's trusted overseer of presidential security. But trust had eroded. The tipping point came in Geneva, where Biya lingered in hospitals under French watch. Leaked cables revealed his medical bills soared to $1 million in 3 months, while Cameroonians grappled with crippling food inflation, separatist violence in the Anglophone regions, and youth unemployment choking the nation. "We're guarding a ghost," one officer muttered, and they were. For most of 2024, Biya hadn't set foot in a government office. A cabal of aging loyalists, nephews, cousins. French consultants made decisions while 80% of Cameroon's population, under 35, was ignored. Within the military, a shift brewed. Younger officers, devoted to Cameroon's future, not Biya's legacy, forged alliances unit by unit. A colonel secured the 3rd Armored Division. Another ran blackout drills with Air Force pilots. Palace guards quietly switched sides. At 3:17 a.m., a single encrypted message sealed the plan. Lord Otam, the curtain falls. By 4 a.m., Biya's communications team was detained. By 5 a.m., the state broadcaster fell under military control. By 5:43, the world was informed. No bloodshed, no chaos, just surgical precision. As the sun rose over Yaoundé, power shifted not with bullets, but with discipline. Biya hadn't just been ousted, he'd been erased by silence. And in Cameroon, silence had never roared so loudly. The betrayal was intimate, born inside Biya's own palace. It came from those who knew him best, men who dined at his table, swore oaths at his feet, and guarded his life across 2 generations. At the center was Sergeant Didier Eckel, a stoic bodyguard who stood outside Biya's suite for over a decade, and known to Biya. Didier carried a personal history of pain. His father jailed for criticizing the regime. His uncle killed in the Anglophone crisis. His brother gunned down in a Douala protest. To Biya, Didier was invisible, just another uniform. To the uprising, he was the linchpin. He mapped the palace's shift changes, pinpointed defecting guards, and at 3:04 a.m., opened the back gates for special forces to slip through without a sound. No shots were fired, but Didier's hand guided the fall of a king. He wasn't alone. Generals who once crushed protests now smuggled USB drives to the Transitional Council. Cabinet secretaries leaked memos exposing billions funneled to French banks. Biya's own physician handed over medical files proving the president was unfit to govern for over 18 months. This wasn't a coup, an insider later said. It was a correction of a nation in a coma. When the palace was surrounded, no loyalists remained. Biya, too old to flee, too isolated to resist. The streets exploded with life. In Yaoundé's Makolo market, a scream rang out, "He's gone!" Thousands surged through alleyways, barefoot, waving flags, crying, praying, shouting. Motorcycles roaring with Cameroon's flag flown upside down, a symbol of rebirth. In Bamenda, Scarred by the Anglophone conflict, silence shattered into cheers. He's gone. He's finally gone. At the University of Biya, students tore down Biya's portraits, replacing them with signs, "You can kill a protest, but not a generation." The elderly, who thought Biya's rule would outlive them. Fireworks lit Yaounde's sky, not planned, not organized, just raw, chaotic, alive. The sound of a nation free after 50 years. At 6:12 a.m. Paris time, a red phone rang in the Élysée Palace. A voice from Yaounde whispered, "It's done, Biya's out." No resistance. For Emmanuel Macron, it was a geopolitical quake. Biya, France's staunchest ally in Africa, had handed French firms like Total, Bolloré, and Orange free access to Cameroon's resources, and allowed French troops to operate in the shadows. His fall cracked France's hold on Central Africa. The French Foreign Ministry issued a terse statement: "We monitor the situation in Cameroon and urge peace and constitutional order." But panic gripped Paris. Reports flooded the defense ministry. As leaders were contacting Cameroon's military, Russian diplomats doubled their Yaounde outreach, and online support for the coup swept West Africa. "If Cameroon joins AES or expels our bases." France's fear wasn't just Biya's fall, it was the ripple effect. If Cameroon's own soldiers could topple Africa's longest ruling leader, what about Togo, Congo, or Chad? Macron hesitated to engage the Transitional Council, with no trusted figure left in Yaounde. Meanwhile, African youth sent a clear message: "We don't want France's fear, we want our future." In Paris, young Africans gathered, waving Cameroon's flag, singing, "Love toi l'Afrique." The old one falls, Africa rises. 2 days later, Etude Palace's gates opened to history. The Transitional Military Council let investigators into the presidential archives, revealing not a government but a vault. Behind soundproof doors and biometric locks lay sealed cabinets, encrypted drives, and letters from French officials. They found contracts never seen by Parliament, oil licenses sold to France for 1% royalties, timber deals ignoring environmental laws, secret foreign surveillance bases in the north, a Geneva bank account, fed monthly by Bolloré, secured Biya's circle monopoly over ports. Millions in aid money flowed to Paris real estate linked to Biya's allies. A 2021 letter from Biya to France's president vowed, "Cameroon's loyalty is guaranteed as long as I live. Keep the funds moving, silence the critics." The truth stunned the new leaders. Biya hadn't just ruled for 40 years, he'd sold Cameroon piece by piece to stay in power. Within 48 hours, redacted files were released. Crowds at universities held signs, "Our resources, our rules, never again." Biya's fall sparked a reckoning with Africa, asking, what else are other leaders hiding? ECOWAS, the regional guardian of democracy, stayed silent, crippled by division. Nigeria urged restraint, Senegal feared contagion, Ghana stayed neutral. ECOWAS protected presidents, not people. But the AES, Burkina Faso, Mali, Niger spoke within 24 hours from Ouagadougou. Cameroon's armed forces have shown courage, reclaiming sovereignty without foreign permission. "Let's build an Africa that stands tall," the message echoed. "One falls for rise. Africa waits no more." ECOWAS' belated call for constitutional restoration on day 5 fell flat. Cameroon had joined a new order, leaving old institutions scrambling to catch up. The Transitional Council shocked the nation on live TV. No gray-haired Biya loyalists. No French-linked elites, just youth. A 28-year-old Douala engineer led infrastructure. A 33-year-old Biya teacher, once jailed for protesting, headed education. A 31-year-old Grua woman, fluent in 4 languages, spoke for the council. "We're not here to manage decay," they declared. "We're rebuilding Cameroon from the ground up." Hospitals opened to all. Teachers got paid. Radio aired poets and activists uncensored. Exiles in Paris, Brussels, and Toronto booked flights home. "We didn't leave Cameroon, we left," Biya's version. All elites whispered of sabotage. Some fled to France, but the earthquake roared on. Teenagers painted murals with one word: now, not tomorrow, not after another election or loan now. Cameroon belonged to its people. The world saw Paul Biya, once Africa's sphinx, frail and handcuffed, led down Etude's marble steps, his sunglasses gone, suit wrinkled, face pale. The weight of 50 years had crashed down. The broadcast was deliberate. "This isn't vengeance," the council said, "it's history facing itself." Under house arrest in a Yaounde military hospital, Biya demanded French advisors and Geneva espresso, blind to reality. His portraits vanished from schools, courts, passports. He's a ghost now, a teen said, holding Biya's faded ID. The council vowed, no exile, no escape, justice's closure. Biya's bulletproof Mercedes sat in a museum exhibit, the cost of silence. This wasn't just a man's fall, it was a myth's collapse. Power isn't eternal, leaders aren't untouchable. Africa bows to accountability, not age. Chants grew, no more kings. Cameroon's awake. Biya's fall shattered a dam across Africa. In Libreville, graffiti read, Cameroon did it. Who's next? In Rome, students marched. We're not afraid. In Kinshasa, a mother told her son, your grandfather's dream is yours to live. Biya's collapse wasn't just political, it was a spiritual awakening. Names like Museveni and Nguesso, once permanent, now seemed fragile. Youth movements reignited. Hashtags trended from Abuja to Nairobi. No more life presidents. Africa decides. In Addis Ababa, the African Union whispered of term limits. In London, Paris, New York, Africans danced. Cameroons flagged their new skin. Villages with faint radio signals heard voices. We're done waiting. Cameroon called for a day of reflection, no parades. Just a sunrise pause to mourn the silence and embrace the future. Africa wasn't broken, a leader said. It was silenced. Now it speaks. Biya's fall was a continent's awakening.